Why are some countries rich? Why are some countries poor? Why are free countries richer? Why are socialist countries poorer? It's clear when we understand freedom. Freedom is a three-legged stool. It's spiritual, political, and economic. In order for one to be free, we must have spiritual truth, political liberty, and economic freedom. If one leg of a three-legged stool is broken, the entire platform collapses. So let's understand all three legs of the political stool. First, spiritual truth. Every philosophical debate boils down to this critical choice. Either one believes that man created God, or he believes that God created man. All subsequent decisions flow from that conclusion. In that book of ancient Jewish wisdom entitled The Exodus, Moses is instructed by God to form a government of federal, state, and local jurisdictions, thousands, hundreds, and tens. And then he is to place leaders in positions of authority that have three critical qualities. The first one is this: men who fear God. Now, fear is the Old English term meaning reference or honor or respect as we fear the king. Here is the essential ingredient to freedom: submission to God and his standard rather than the whimsical tyranny of man's standard. Whenever man fills that God-shaped vacuum found in his heart with his own definition of right or wrong, history is replete. Whenever man sets himself up as God, he always ends up killing. C.S. Lewis said during the Second World War, he said, "We in the West, we bristle when we hear the Nazis claim that what is right is what is ever good for the Third Reich." However, unless there is a standard overarching all of us, whether we acknowledge it or not, then the Germans and the Japanese are just as entitled to their definition of right or wrong as are we. Unless the measuring rod is separate from that which is being measured, there can be no measurement. In other words, history tells us when man is his own standard, without God, there is no protection for life. Man, as God, has always been willing to sacrifice the lives of his fellow humans to satisfy the demands of the gods of the environment that he has created. So, leg number one of the stool of freedom is freedom requires submission to God. And that is why this conference is so important. When a person is God-centered, he respects the environment, but reveres life and family. When a person is self-centered and himself is God, he worships the environment and is willing to sacrifice life and family. Secondly, Moses is told that he must have men of truth. Now, immediately we see the significance of the first leg of the stool, honoring God. So what is truth? Here it is. Again, as C.S. Lewis said, there are only two definitions of right or wrong: what God says is right, or what man says is right. What God says is true, and what man is playing by claiming it's my truth. And that is why men hate truth, because truth reveals error. Right reveals wrong. Let me explain. I can say that this room is 75 feet wide. You can say it's 65 feet. You can say it's 85. You can say it's 40 feet. And we can just be as pleased as punch. We can discuss it at great length. We can discuss it ad nauseum. We can have white papers explaining it. We can have the United Nations have conferences. We can have the European Union study it. And everything is fine until someone comes and measures it. And the measurement is truth. Everything else is just opinion. But here's the significance. The truth reveals error. So I've said 3 times it's 75 feet wide. The measurement says it's only 60. Everyone in the room knows that what I said was wrong. Therefore, error hates truth, because truth reveals error. But even more than that, truth overcomes error. The defense counselor at the court says that his client would never steal the automatic teller machine at the drive-in at the bank. Well, he wouldn't think of such a thing. However, when you show the security camera truth, it sees the driver going up to the ATM. You see him put a chain around the ATM machine. You see his face recorded on the video camera and his fingerprints on and the truth will reveal the error such that the only way he can succeed is to prevent the presentation of truth, because truth overcomes error. That's why only the left burns books. That's why the left shouts down speakers. 1,000 leftists can speak without interruption, but let one conservative appear on a college campus and all hell breaks loose. Why? Because truth overcomes error. Therefore, they must censor. They must shadow ban. They must cancel, because error cannot survive in the presence of truth. Final leg of the stool. As recorded in the ancient book, Exodus 18:21, it says, "Fear God, lovers of truth, haters of socialism." Hating covetousness, the synonym for socialism, which is taking from one and redistributing to another. The third leg of the freedom stool is economic freedom, which is this. There's a car going down the street out here. There are only two ways that I can get money out of the person in that car. One of them is called free enterprise capitalism. That is where I lay awake nights figuring out ways to do something good for the person, such that they slam on the brakes and pull in and say, "You're going to wash my car and you're going to sweep the carpet and clean the dashboard and wash the windows." I would much rather have that than have this $10 bill. I would much rather have that pair of shoes than the $60. I would much rather have that air conditioning unit than the $200. Under free enterprise, the only way I can get money is for the customer to be provided a blessing so great that he voluntarily, freely reaches into his pocket and makes an exchange whereby at the end of the exchange, we are both better off. Both parties are richer than they were before, and if not, then they don't make the exchange. And this is the only way that wealth is created. Let me say it again. This is the only way that wealth is created. But I said there are two ways to get money out of that car going down the street. The other one is, I just take it. Now, when I take it, have I created any wealth? No. Have I redistributed wealth? Yes, from his pocket to mine. But here's the point. The degree to which I am advantaged is the degree to which he is diminished. Therefore, socialism cannot and does not create wealth. It only redistributes wealth from the entrepreneur who produced it to the political power who steal it. Therefore, the more socialism, the more covetousness, the more taking by the government of any city, state, or nation, and here's the concluding principle. The greater the freedom, the greater the wealth. The greater the socialism, the greater the poverty. And it only works this way every time. And so, let me say to all of you who have put your trust in God, thank you. Thank you, Mikolovich. Thank you, Miklos. Thank you for the Center for Fundamental Rights. Thank you to CPAC. God bless you. And God bless America.